Hey, self-employed borrowers, I want to talk to you. Okay, we're going to talk about income and qualifying for a mortgage. If you're watching this, you're self-employed. One of the biggest issues out there is income, right? Do you make enough money provable to the IRS? So what I'm going to talk about today is a lot of solutions to those problems. All right, in this video, we're going to talk about a lot of solutions here, somewhere in the middle to the end of it. So stay tuned. Don't check out on me, right? So if you're newly self-employed though, what's happening is when you go to get a loan, it's going to be two things that are important. Two, all right, credit score. And in this scenario, we're assuming you have great credit, okay? If you don't have great credit, I got plenty of other content out there about credit repair and different things like that, okay? So if you have great credit, we're gonna just, for argument's sake, move on with this, all right? Next step is you're self-employed, we gotta have provable income. What does that mean? Provable income means, hey, this is what I claim with the IRS, okay? Here's the W-2 I pay myself, here's my personal tax returns, here's my business tax returns for the last 2 years, okay? Well, there we go, good. Here's a 2-year average of that, there's your income, bam, all right? The problem starts, and if you're self-employed, you know this, with the write-offs. So it's the net income. And because that's what we're going to use to qualify. So whatever you tell the IRS your net income is, for the most part, right, there's different things you can do, but for the most part, that's probably going to be what we have to qualify you on. And so a lot of times that does not equal what you want to buy. All right. So it's like, well, hey, you know, your income says you qualify for a $100,000 loan. Meanwhile, you're out there looking at $600,000-$700,000 loans. You know, that's where you want to be, all right? But your income says you can't qualify for it. And then, you know, we'll get the, and I get it, like I love you self-employed people, it's great, and I support you in writing off everything. I really do. But we'll get the, oh, Tim, you know how it goes. You know that's not what we make. You know I make more than that. And they do, okay? And you do. But the problem is we got to go off with the IRS. We tell the IRS, all right? So that causes a pickle because you're currently renting, you want to buy a home, you can qualify for a $700,000 loan, but we can only get you into a $100,000 loan because of your tax returns. Aha, there are solutions. By the way, for the tax returns, if you qualify for those, right, if whatever you need with your tax returns, you know, you're looking at your conventional mortgages, your FHA, your VA, etc. But if you don't qualify for those, which a lot of self-employed borrowers don't, there's almost levels to what happens next, okay? There's other avenues that are out there that just involve you just not getting denied, right? Oh, you don't claim enough on your tax returns, you're denied. By the way, the other solution for people is, well, I don't claim enough this year, right? We're in 2025, so 2024 you didn't claim enough. Well, in their mind, in 25, now they're gonna claim everything. Okay, they're going to claim all this income and they're going to use that to qualify for the new mortgage. Well, maybe that works, but now you're paying Uncle Sam how much more money? You know, you just had to increase your income $100,000. Now you're going to pay, you know, 20-something thousand dollars extra in taxes just to qualify for a mortgage, right? So a lot of different things to think about here. So what happens though if your tax returns say you lost money, okay, but you really didn't, but you lost money in your tax returns? Well, the next step we have is we have a program, it's called business bank statements, okay? So we'll use your business bank statements to generate income. We'll say, give us your last 12 months, your last 24 months business bank statements, and then we'll use the average deposits. We'll work out the deposits, here's the average, usually it's 50% of all deposits, bam, there's your income, okay? That alleviates a ton of problems, okay? Usually, everyone qualifies for that. Okay, for what they want to get, using that bank statement loan. Yeah, a little more money down. Yeah, the rate's a little higher. Yes, 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 yes. But guess what? You know, you're not paying the IRS 20-something extra grand, you know, to borrow money, all right? So, but in some cases, though, the bank statement loan is not an option. It does not work. For whatever reason, don't feel like getting into them, but they don't work, okay, for that borrower. Well, we have a third option now. Okay, for the self-employed borrowers. This is where you provide us, the lender, the last 2 years profit and loss statements, okay? Not audited by a CPA, okay? Non-audited, N-O-N, non-audited from financials, okay? A CPA does not sign these. These are only signed by the borrower, given to the lender. 2 years profit and loss, how much you made, expenses, net income. There it is, last 2 years, signed by the borrower, given to us, the lender, okay? So there are a lot of other options that are available to you self-employed people, all right, that don't involve your tax returns, okay? So I just want to make sure I put this content out there because a lot of people need help. You self-employed borrowers, you can afford these loan amounts you're trying to get, but you can't qualify for them with those tax returns. So these other programs will help. Business bank statements, profit and loss. We have some other things beyond that too as well, but usually kind of stops right there. All right. And yeah, they're higher rates. It's a little more risk. Okay. Less documentation, but you're okay with that. All right. So if I can help, you're self-employed and you're in this situation, you need a deal saved, or you're just starting to look, let us know. Happy to help. My phone number, 239-437-4278. Thanks and have a great day.